Hey guys, it's me David and welcome to Moving Kashyyyk Part 2. Guys, I know this video should have came out a long time ago, back in August, like 3-4 months ago. I apologize, but better late than never. So without ado, let's go ahead right into this. Let's get started. What happened to Kashyyyk? You know, what's the fate of it? What's gonna happen to it? All of that will be answered by the end of this video. So get your favorite drink, popcorn, whatever you want to snack on, and you're gonna listen to a great story called Moving Kashyyyk. I promise, guys, it's pretty interesting how what ended up happening to Kashyyyk and where it's at today. So let's get started, guys. So first off, picking up from where I left off with Moving Kashyyyk Part 1, what happened was I built 3 big wooden crates. I think I mentioned this at the end of that video. And me and my dad built these crates together, and we made these industrial crates. All right, these aren't just a couple pieces of plywood stick together and call it a day. No, these are industrial made crates. Okay, these things could handle a lot more than some Legos in it. My dad, he basically does carpentry stuff on the side of his hobby, and he refused to make these things low quality. We had to have the best plywood. It had to hold, like, literally probably these things could hold like 500 pounds in them. They had to be like perfect, and perfect we made them. These things were fantastically made. They perfectly handled Kashyyyk. There was no bending in the wood. There was no like, oh my god, is it gonna fall out, is it gonna drop? No concern for that whatsoever. The problem is when you build industrial crates like these things, those crates empty are pretty heavy. It requires 2 people just to lift them up with nothing in it. Okay, so just want to clarify, because the weight of Kashyyyk, especially when you put the Kashyyyk mock into it, it got really heavy. Okay, really heavy. Now guys, I'm going to throw some pictures up here every now and again to commentate with what I'm going to be talking about, so you kind of understand a little bit better than what I can explain here of me talking about it, and you guys get to see it as well. So yeah, let's get started, guys. Basically the 3 crates, right? So 2 of them were one for each tree. Okay, so we made 2 kind of box-like, more squarish crates, one for each of the trees. Those things held the trees perfectly. They look great. Those things worked fine. They weren't that heavy. It only required about 2 people to lift them. It was the 3rd crate that was the most heavy and hardest to move. That would be the crate for the mountain, right? So if you guys remember, the mountain was built as one giant piece. It couldn't be broken in half. It had to stay as one big piece. And so basically the crate is a giant long rectangle. And I'm telling you, that thing, when you put the mock in it, I swear, it had to weigh at least 100 pounds plus, okay? The crate probably weighed 35 pounds, the mock had to weigh at least 75 pounds. That thing was ridiculously heavy, probably more than that. It could have been up to 150 to 200 pounds. I don't know, I didn't weigh it, but it felt that way because it required 5 people to lift it up and down off a truck and down the stairs and everything. It was insane moving that big crate. I was completely in shock with how hard it was to move that crate. It was back-breaking work, I'll tell you. It was a lot of work to move Kashyyyk, especially out of that house. Now the house where Kashyyyk was previously at, my previous Lego room, that house is sold, it's gone, don't have it, family sold it, it's gone, don't live there anymore, have no access to it, so sad, but that's reality. So anyhow, we took Kashyyyk into those crates, and as for the rest of the Kashyyyk mock, the beach and the wood area and the back of it where all the you know, the crane and the elevator and the 3rd floor, all of that got removed, and the 3rd floor I was able to just kind of take off. The elevator was kind of easy to take apart, and then those base plates kind of just came out from the back. The beach was relatively easy. I just broke it up by base plate, and all of that got condensed into basically these plastic bins. And if you watch my most recent video, my fall 2016 update video, at the end of it in the new garage that I have, you'll actually see those same crates that I got or not crates, clear bins that I got to house all of the beach and all of the base plate stuff, the lower stuff that weren't big structures, all that, and the sets for like the turbo tanks and the Wookiees and all the figures, all the accessories and fun stuff, the water, how all that was stored in those bins, carrying it and moving it up to BrickFair, because that was Kashyyyk's next destination. But first, before I get to that, I'll tell you, so we got the, so these crates, the way that they're made, right, so they were designed to have at least one opening door, and what we actually ended up doing is just taking off a side and screwing it on and off. So I had a power drill with me constantly, and I would screw basically the front panel on and off to get a mock in and out of the 3 different crates. So we were able to slide the, and when I say slide, you have to pick it up. There's about this much of clearance space to pick it up, because again, these things are industrial made, so normally plywood's about, yeah, that thin, but because we made it thick with like extra plywood around it, it's about that thick, about 1.5 inches, maybe 1 inch. So you have to pick it up and then slide it into it. Took about, there's 3 of us, so it was me, Javier, and Kennedy. It was 3 of us, and we were able to put these things in the in their crates. Wasn't a problem there. It was when we had to take these crates out the door. The Lego room, the previous Lego room that I had, it was a great Lego room. It was fantastic, actually. I loved the space. It worked really well for me. But the problem with it is the door that led out to a hallway. The hallway was extremely narrow. Okay, so you have this really narrow hallway, and here's the door that comes out. There was barely, okay, so these crates, they were designed so they could fit the door literally perfectly. Like, there was no rubbing room between the door frame and the crate. They were just literally right next to each other, and you had to pull it out. It was when you pulled it out into the hallway and tried to turn it that was the problem, because it's a really narrow hallway, so you could get it out. And I know a lot of you are immediately thinking, well, that happens with furniture. What you do is you lift it up vertically, right? You can't do that because these are Lego mocks. If you turn it vertically, everything's gonna crash and burn and be like, blah. It's gonna be very bad. It would be very, very bad if you turned it sideways, because then bad things would happen. Anyhow, so you couldn't turn these things vertically. That's just not how we made them. I didn't think about it when we made them. Whatever, we had to deal with the situation at the time. So in terms of turning it, literally there's millimeters, and I'm talking millimeters between turning those things between the door frame and the hallway, because it was that narrow. And I'll throw some pictures up right now. I think I have a couple pictures of this. Oh man, it was, especially with the longest crate, moving that mountain out of it. The trees were tricky, but I was able to make them work. It was the mountain that, oh god, that thing was just hard to freaking move. Oh gosh, gee, like, it's just bringing bad memories. What we ended up having to do, it wouldn't actually turn right. We actually had to take a belt sander, a portable belt sander, okay? We had to get a belt sander out and shave down the corners to turn the crate in the hallway between the door frame and the hallway in order to turn it right. That's how much we had to do, how much work we had to do just to turn the thing in the hallway. It was insane. That was just nightmare number 1, is just getting it out through the door frame and into the hallway. Nightmare number 2 was carrying these things down the stairs. The trees weren't that hard. We were able to get the trees down. It was the largest of the large, the mountain, of course. That crate just caused problem after problem. We had to take it step by step down, and I'll throw some pictures. I know I have some pictures of this. This, along with the trees, we had to take these things step by step because we only had 3 people. We needed another person. We didn't have that other person, so we just had to deal with what we had, whatever. So we took it step by step. We had 2 people on one side of the stairs holding up the heavier side of the crate, and then 1 person lowering it down stair by stair. And because it was so heavy, each crate was pretty dang freaking heavy, we had to basically slide it and drop it down each stair. And like, I'll tell you, each stair was just, it was pain in my soul. Like, every drop I was like, oh my god, is this thing gonna break on me? It was just horrible. But spoiler alert, by the time I got it to BrickFair, after a 2-hour drive and everything that those crates went through in terms of moving them and getting them out of the house and into a truck, they all survived to BrickFair. I don't know how, but they somehow survived, guys. I guess I built them right. It's kind of funny looking back at it now, but it was some back-breaking work then. But anyhow, we were able to get all the crates down somehow. Once we got them down the stairs, I had this like furniture dolly type of thing, and we would basically roll it out from that point out to a truck. And we actually got it out to the garage, and it wasn't until the day after that I was able to get that fourth person that I needed, and we were able to get 4 people to lift up the crates into the truck. And I think I have some pictures of that. I'll throw that up of what all three crates together literally took up the entire 6-foot bed of a big pickup truck. So all of the rest of Kashyyyk, the bins and all the beaches had to be stuffed in the back, where the side door, or whatever, how a truck, it's one of those bigger trucks where you have an actual seat in the back. We had to stuff all that with the other stuff. And we had to take a separate car for all the stuff for the Minifigs For You booth. That was crazy. Anyhow, so that's how we got Kashyyyk out. It was a painstaking amount of work. Seriously, it was. But we were able to get it out, get it onto the truck, and when I got to BrickFair, we offloaded it. Thankfully, I was able to have 5 people at BrickFair, and it took 5 people to lift the biggest crate off, which is the mountain piece, lift that off the truck, get that onto a table. What sucked about the BrickFair tables is we had to use 4 tables, and they were kind of wobbly and not really perfectly, like these tables I have right here, they're perfectly level and they work when I put another table together. The BrickFair tables were very warped. It was a big pain, but I was able to make it work just barely. I had to constantly switch tables in and out to find like the perfect matching table, because some tables were too low and too high, and you can't have like unevenness when you're putting a Lego mock on a table, otherwise it's going to warp it and bend it, and you can obviously see that. So that was a big pain, but we were able to get everything set up. It took 20 plus hours to put Kashyyyk back together. 20 plus hours, probably like 25 hours, my guess. It took me 2 days. A lot of work to put that Kashyyyk mock together, and the problem is I had friends and my family was there for my Minifigs For You booth. They were there to help and run the booth and stuff like that. But the problem is putting Kashyyyk together is basically like putting a puzzle together, except I'm the only one that knows how to put that puzzle together. Literally, I have like 3 people next to me, and they're like, "Can I help? What can I do for you, David?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your help." But literally, I'm the only one that knows how to put it together because I'm the only one that built it. And I know it sounds horrible, but that's the reality, is only I can put it together. And that sucks because, you have a bunch of friends that want to help, and they don't know what to do. And you can't really tell them like, "Oh, this is exactly how this has to go." You just have to do it yourself for this type of thing, and it really sucks because I would have loved their help, but they would only know how to help if they were there to watch me build it, or well, I wouldn't even say watch me build it, but to see how I took it apart, right? So especially the beach area, like I took it apart in certain ways, and you needed to see how I did that, and I was the only one that I did that the night before we put it in the crates, and nobody was there to watch it. I didn't even take any video of it, and so basically I was the only one that knew how to put it all back together. Now the minifigures, I was able to have some help on those, but the majority of Kashyyyk I had to put together myself, and that was a big pain in the butt. But by the time public day came of Saturday and Sunday, actually I think that at the beginning of Saturday I was still putting minifigures on it, because that night before I was there until like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, still putting it together. I still didn't, I think I still never even got it together. I had to get there early Saturday morning. It was just a big rush to put that thing together, guys. It was insane. But I believe by noon of public day I had it all put together. For majority of the public visitors got to see the finished product. So that's moving Kashyyyk to BrickFair. So what happened after BrickFair? Everything, the trees, the beaches, all that got put back in the same bins, crates. Everything went back in smoothly. Wasn't a big problem, except one thing. It was the big mountain, of course, the biggest, heaviest piece, the thing that I always told you is a big pain. When we were putting that back into its crate at the end of BrickFair, okay, so we had 4 people with me at the time, and the way, it's a very long section, right? It's like 4 long base plates, and you have 2 people on each side. There's no person really in the middle holding it. We picked it up by the sides because, again, I told you there's about this much clearance space between the table and the actual crate. You have to pick it up and kind of put it in there. There was no sliding it in perfectly. Just didn't work out that way. So when we picked it up, it collapsed at the bottom. Not the top, not the actual mountain part, but the bottom kind of sinked in, and everything kind of shifted over itself, kind of like an earthquake, how like rock kind of shifts over itself. It was kind of like that. And it happened more in the back of it, and the back was going inwards into the crate, so I couldn't see the damage because we picked it up basically and put it in there, and then I realized after we had it halfway in that it had broken at the bottom right in the middle, and I couldn't really see too much of the extent of the damage from the front angle. It was more the back where it had really broken. So to this day, I still don't know the extent of the damage. I just know it was pretty bad. Most of the base plate at the bottom, like the 2 base plates, so you have 4 base plates, the 2 middle base plates were basically completely off. So I don't know, it seemed bad, it might be minor, but it seemed pretty bad. So that was the only bad thing that happened. We were able to get everything back in the truck by the end of BrickFair. It all, from what I could tell, all of it made it home safely pretty well. Again, I still haven't opened the crates up, so I don't know. I think if the trees survived up to BrickFair, I'm pretty sure they survived back. It's really the mountain part that I don't really have not really certain to what happened to that. All right, so what is Kashyyyk's fate? So I got it all back. Currently, Kashyyyk, those 3 crates, they're currently sitting 9 feet up in a garage at my dad's house. In his garage, it's literally 9 feet up on one of those industrial types of shelves, you know, the ones you would see at like Costco or Sam's Club. It's also like those industrial, you know, those big steel ones that like at Lowe's they have for their stuff, or Home Depot or whatever hardware store. There's really big like steel things that can hold like 2,000 pounds. It's sitting on top of one of those at the moment. So like I think it's the 2 tree crates and then the mountain crates on the very top, literally almost touching the ceiling. And yeah, I have a picture up of it right now. You can see just how insane it looks right now, but it seems to be fine. It's been sitting there for about a month now and seems to be okay. So, you know, it's all good. So yeah, what's gonna happen to Kashyyyk? So my original idea after BrickFair, or during BrickFair, I thought was, why don't I take this to some type of public place, like a public library or possibly a children's hospital, just somewhere where somebody could see it all and enjoy it, because right now it's sitting in a crate and doing nothing. It's in complete utter darkness and nobody's seen it. It's not even built anywhere. It's literally taken apart into these crates and nobody knows what it looks like at the moment, unless you've obviously seen videos online, but currently it's doing nothing, literally nothing. It's being seen by no one. And you know, here's the problem with, I really was insistent about taking it to some type of public place, whether that be a hospital or a library or just somewhere public where somebody could see it, is I had talked about this after BrickFair was over. I had talked about this with my friends and family, and basically they liked the idea. Everybody liked the idea. It sounded great, but then everybody asked me the question, so you're just gonna like leave it out and open and like let the kids play with it, right? And I'm like, no, I'd probably put like a bunch of plexiglass around it. And then everybody said that basically defeats the purpose. And I'm like, well, the reason why I'd put the plexiglass or some type of barrier around it to make sure that kids or whoever is looking at it doesn't really play with it is because things on it will break. I didn't intend for Kashyyyk to be really a big playable type of thing. Like a Lego set, most Lego sets today are extremely well made. They're made for playable type of like play. Playable play. Huh. That's a fun little term. Copyright David Hall. Playable play. Whatever. Sounds really stupid. Anyhow, I didn't intend Kashyyyk for playableness, for kids to really do anything. And so things like the elevator, the 3rd floor, the column, basically if you touch anything, especially the trees and like a lot of certain things, if you just touch it or accidentally pull it or something, something will completely collapse and break and shatter into a million pieces. Especially those things at the front of Kashyyyk, the I don't even know what I called them, this like still like type of like I don't know, the big brown things where Wookiees would jump onto multiples. You know what I'm talking about if you saw Kashyyyk. Those things in the beginning, they're really cool looking, but they're extremely break. Those constantly got broke at BrickFair, and I had to fix like 4 of them while I was there because somebody would accidentally knock those things over. And basically, if I took it to a public place and made it playable, then it would just be a nightmare. And the problem is if I put plexiglass in front of it, this is what everybody told me, if I put plexiglass in front of it or some type of clear barrier around it, and I couldn't put chains around it because someone would ended up going over and touching it. That's just what would happen. That's what happened at BrickFair. Somebody would end up touching it, even if you had some type of like chain or rope around it, somebody would end up touching it, something would break, so defeats the purpose. Might as well either make it playable or put a big barrier around it, one or the other, you got no choice. If I put a big plexiglass barrier around it, then that's like putting a candy in front of a kid and saying you can't eat it. You just have to look at it. So it's kind of more of torturing a kid rather than letting them have excitement and joy. At least that's what everybody, all my friends had to say about that, and I kind of agree with them. So I don't think that's going to end up happening. And the other thing is, I know you guys will say was, well, why don't you make it playable and then why don't you just go fix it every week? Well, the problem with that is like the nearest like children's hospital or whatever is like 45 minutes, an hour away. I'm a college student, a full-time college student. I have a YouTube channel to run and an online web store to run. I cannot do all of that plus go to a children's or library or whatever and constantly go there and fix things. That just couldn't happen. I know that sounds really bad, but that's sadly the reality of it. I mean, if I had ultimate free time, yeah, I'd be there every day fixing and letting kids play with it, but I just don't have the time to do that. You know, it's kind of sad, but that's just how it has to be, sadly. Can't do anything about it, guys. So yeah. Now, so since it's not going to go anywhere, now in terms of taking it to another convention, I'm sure it's another thing a lot of you would bring up is, well, David, why don't you bring it to another convention? Well, to answer that is, I'm telling you, I just told you guys, it took probably 20 to 25 hours to rebuild Kashyyyk. And it was 20 hours to rebuild it. That was just insane. And to redo that, it's just too much work, honestly. It was nothing but a big stressor bringing Kashyyyk to BrickFair. However, you know, if you got to see Kashyyyk at BrickFair, thank you so much, by the way. If you got to see me like finishing it up, or you got to talk to me or someone else there, thank you so much for coming and seeing it, because that's probably going to be the only time that Kashyyyk will and ever be in a public place for everybody to go see it. So if you've had that chance to go see it in public, I'm glad you did. Thank you so much. If you had talked to me, I appreciate it. I love talking to all of you guys. I know a lot of you would come up and be like, so how'd you do this part? You know, what are your thoughts? Do you really like it? How hard was it to move it? It was great talking to you guys at BrickFair. So, you know, I do want to say thank you so much, guys. But yeah, anyhow, just taking it to another convention, like if I took it to BrickFair New Jersey, took it to some BrickFest, Brick World, whatever. It's just asking to break more, because, you know, I was lucky to get it there in 2 hours and not let it break. And like I already told you, first off, the mountain has, I would consider, from what I could tell, it's probably severe damage. It could be minor, but I think it's severe. So you have the severe damage that needs to be fixed. And then on top of that, the free time that I need to take out, like I told you guys, like most BrickFair conventions except for BrickFair Virginia are, you know, the spring and fall and just times, and some of these conventions are just too far to go out to. Like some of them are like 10 hours away from me. The only one that is near me is BrickFair Virginia. And I already took Kashyyyk to BrickFair Virginia. It kind of defeats the purpose to take it there again, because a lot of you who went there last year or this year, I shouldn't say last year, had already seen it. I think that's the closest convention that it could have gone to. Any other convention's kind of too far. And like I said, it takes a lot of work to rebuild that thing, because I'm the only one that knows how to put it back together. And that really sucks. If I had people that knew how to put it back together, then it would probably be only about, you know, 5 to 10 hours to put it back together, and I'd have help and it would be a lot easier. But when it's just me, It's a lot of work, guys. I know it sounds bad or rude or whatever you want to call it, but that's the reality, guys. It's a lot of back-breaking work putting that thing together. So, to sum it all up, since Kashyyyk is just sitting in a garage doing nothing, a little bit of southern accent in there, doing nothing, yeah. Anyhow, since it's just sitting in the garage doing nothing, I think it's fair that at least the mountain part should be destroyed and the part should be used for another mock. And I know a lot of you kind of wanted to see it be destroyed, so some of you are getting your wish. However, I don't plan on taking either tree. At the very least, the large tree, the larger one that I personally really love, that tree will never be destroyed. The littler tree, the smaller one, the first one I built in Kashyyyk, that could possibly be taken apart because those leaf pieces are pretty expensive and I could use them for a future mock, kind of hinting to something else. But so I think the mountain part will be destroyed. When will that be destroyed? Not anytime too soon, not in the nearest future, probably within a month, 2 or 3 months, I don't know. December, January is what I'm thinking, but don't hold me to that. It's when I start the next mock-up, that'll be part of the first part of the segment, is destroying an older mock to make way for the new one. That'll probably be a segment for the next mock. So I'm content now with destroying Kashyyyk. I know I was very emotionally upset with having to move it, but after taking it to BrickFair, after moving it out of the house and taking it up to BrickFair and taking it back, and all of that work, after all of those hours of work of doing it, I'm at the point where I'm just like, okay, let's just destroy it and just move on. I think I'm at that point now. You know, it sounds, before I had moved it or anything, it sounds easy to take it place to place, but once you do it and experience the reality of it, you have a better perspective of like, okay, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. This can't happen after this. So I think Kashyyyk has accomplished its goal. It's gotten over, combined total views on YouTube, I think it's about 3 to 5 million views. I know the finale video has 1 million plus views. Probably all the segments, there's like 56 segments. Combine all those views and it's probably anywhere at like 3-4 million views. And then the photo kind of video finale, not the finale, but the showcase video of Kashyyyk, I think that is upwhere of like 300,000 views, almost, I think it's on its way to 500,000 views. So, and then I've taken it to BrickFair where about 15,000 people got to see it for real. I think Kashyyyk has been, I think it's had its light in the day, and it's time to put it to rest and let it be reused for something else. I think that's where we're at with Kashyyyk. I'm at the point where I'm okay with destroying most of it. Again, the beach, the back of it, the mountain part, everything will be destroyed except for the trees. I'm content with that now, and I think that is something that's just gonna have to happen because I'd rather, it's just sitting in a crate right now, guys. It's just sitting up in a garage, 9 feet tall, in a crate. Nobody's gonna see it. I don't plan on taking it to another convention because it's too much work. The whole public space thing, as much as I wanted to do that, it's just not really reality. It's just something that can't happen because there's nobody there to constantly maintain it. It's too much, it's just sad to put plexiglass in front of especially a children's hospital and just say you can't touch it. It's just too mean to do that. So, you know, that's the reality of it, guys. I think it's best that it gets destroyed and all those pieces can be reused for something else. And I know a lot of you want another mock. And using those pieces will be very helpful for another mock because that means I don't have to spend a lot of money because a lot of money went into Kashyyyk. And so all of that can be reinvested and rebuilt into another mock for future use. All right, guys, so that's going to be it. Yeah, so I think I've said everything that needed to be said. I apologize, this video is a little long. It needed to happen. That is it. There's just 2 parts of moving Kashyyyk. You guys heard it. Kashyyyk will be destroyed in a future video in the coming months. So there you have it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed your snack or drink. I hope this was kind of entertaining and watching and listening to. And that's going to be it, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. Bye-bye.